Whoa, Wildcats.
What's that, a remix there?
No, that's from Wildcats movie.
Whoa, Wildcats.
Wildcats movie?
Yeah.
With Goldie Hawn, the football team?
Oh, that. All right.
And Wesley Snipes and Woody Allen.
Not Woody
following
Allen.
all the Wildcats references.
It's not Woody Allen.
What?
That's the best Woody Allen ever, Wildcats.
He's got a cameo in there.
Wildcats.
He does that, actually.
Wildcats.
He's like, don't hit me, lady.
No.
Oh, wait.
That's Jerry Lewis.
That's if Woody Allen was in Wildcats, he would be a Jerry Lewis football player.
And they're playing Jerry Lewis.
This is so far down a hole that I can't even go back to correct it
I
now.
can't do a Woody Allen impersonation, so it comes across as Jerry Lewis.
It's like 8 levels of correction that are needed. Hey everybody, welcome back to Signed In, episode 109. I'm Jeremy Superfro33.
I'm Craig Prop Dresser.
And I'm Sean Shonick.
We were all at your whim there, because we were just waiting. He's got to say his name first.
I should have held it out longer.
I know. See, you
I thought maybe
lost the
I
opportunity.
thought maybe you changed it. You paid that.
I thought he forgot.
I like to have everybody hang on my words.
What do we say next?
Yeah.
That could be too. It's been a while for us.
Yes.
We haven't been together for about a month.
Right.
To pull back the curtain.
It's less
bit.
of time for the listeners at home.
A
Yeah.
little less.
They did have an extra week.
We had an
there.
extra week. So thanks everybody for our extra week. I was out of the state
Yes.
on business trip, so I wanted a little extra time off. So
business trip.
business, quote unquote, hookers and blow. All right, fine, whatever.
Not in that order, though.
But there was business to be had and done. Trust me. But we had the holidays all come through. How
Yep.
was everybody's holidays? Everybody
Excellent.
survived?
Yeah, very nice.
It was good. Good time.
Good.
Very busy.
Yeah.
So we don't have a lot of games to talk about? You know, there hasn't
Not a
been a
ton.
lot of games that
Yeah.
come out either.
No.
So there's
Not
been
at
that.
all.
Particularly.
However, the next couple of weeks or the next couple of months look jam-packed.
Oh,
so
it's
it's
quarter
going to be
one.
crazy. I know, it's the new holiday season.
Yeah, exactly.
I forget about that. And then it rolls around and like January's done before I know it. And then I'm like, well, shit, this is out now. That comes out in 2 weeks? That comes out in another week? What?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty bad now.
I should do
got
a
all this
standing.
stuff coming out.
I should do a standing order at Family Video that hooks it up quarterly, like charges my account for my half off, like right when the new games drop,
So that you know.
and they know. I should talk to them.
Work it
Get
out.
that set up.
But then you have to remember when things come out.
That's true.
And you don't know that.
Well,
stuff
they
yet.
know when it comes out. I put it all on them.
You want them to contact you?
No, like when I get there, they'll be like, "Oh, this game's out." No, that
We've been
work.
holding it for 3 weeks.
No,
for
they
you.
won't do that. They won't do that. It's not like a comic job.
You gotta take some responsibility.
I know. I guess.
Yeah, it's not like a comic shop where you can just have your mommy pull everything for you and then come in and be like, what did I get? And then it's all taken care of.
Nothing wrong with that. It's awesome, actually. It's good service.
It is.
Yes.
If you can get the person to bring them home for you, that's even better.
I gotta go to the
I
shop.
can get that done.
I gotta go to the shop.
All right, well, games.
Just a little dog running around.
We
I
did
see.
have some games come out, though.
Yes, correct.
So I have a couple to talk about. A couple demos. The Dead Space 3 demo hit.
Yes. Yeah.
And Metal Gear Rising Revengeance.
Revengeance.
Revengeance Sincerity? Revengeance.
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 It sounds like a Sean word to me.
Yes, it is.
But Revengeance, we'll go with it. I played a little bit of Devil May Cry on the full disc release.
Excellent.
Probably not as much as you guys even played in the demo, but we'll get to that. I'm going to more, but I just
Yeah, I
haven't
kept
time.
looking to see if Redbox would get that, but they did not.
And The Cave just came out on XBLA this week, and
That's
I
correct.
bought that and have a little bit to say about that as well.
Sweet.
That's it for me, I think.
I'll add in on the cave. Retro City Rampage came out.
Yeah.
We talked.
Finally!
Yeah, no, it was funny. What was it like? Our show posted and
The
then,
the day before it came out that week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were timely on that.
Well, we
one.
recorded it before the end of the year.
Exactly. I did get some indie games in. I got a smattering of those. And you guys fawning over XCOM kind of inspired me over the break to play some XCOM.
Oh,
so I kind of snuck in and played a little bit of that.
I'm very intrigued to see your opinions on that.
He hated it.
Yep. Just wait. Strap in.
I'm strapping in.
I have almost nothing different to add to that, except Kinect Party. I have a couple Kinect games to throw in there.
All right, I guess I'll have Kinect Party too.
Just a little bit of Kinect Party. It's not much to talk about, especially if you've played Action Happy Theater.
I didn't.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. That's what it became.
And also Dance Central 3. I picked that up over the holiday season.
Nice.
Yes.
You have some Dance Central 3, don't you?
I got to see some Dance Central 3 get played. Yes.
You liar! You played.
I
tried to trick him.
I really want to play it.
Yeah, I played.
Why,
We'll get
why
to
are you
it.
trying? Why is that a trick?
We'll get to
Because
it.
he just want to say you played it.
No, we'll get to it when Craig talks about
can't
it.
wait.
Because this version,
It's slick.
Before we jump into the games, starting with indie, as always, I do want to throw out real quick a thanks to everybody who checked out our end of the year show.
Yes.
And the feedback that we got on that. And thanks to everybody. And thanks to some folks who were also kind over the holidays and
Yes.
gifted some stuff. That was unexpected
definitely.
and awesome and appreciated. And
Very, very much so.
We're just lowly dudes. So anything you throw our way,
Slowly.
we pay for all this stuff on our own. So we don't ever ask for. There's no subscriptions for anything. There's no fees for anything. So anything you contribute to the show to help us continue to do it and provide us with other forms of entertainment to talk about, like game wise.
Yes.
I know we were gifted some points over the holidays. So thanks to everybody.
They
who
were
was,
not spent on Grand Theft Auto 4 DLC.
They were not.
No.
Hey, I have that DLC.
Can I play yours?
Somebody should. somebody should get some use out of that.
they should do. Never mind.
But no, in all seriousness, thanks to everybody
Yes,
who
definitely.
kicked something our way. It was very appreciated, not needed at all. We're still here going to do this, but it's always appreciated.
Definitely.
So, all right, let's talk about some indie games.
Okay.
Who wants to start that? I got none because I'm a loser.
Let's get Sean starting here.
I'll kick it off with Battle Sub. It sold for 80 points from
I played this one.
from Red Talon. This is essentially just a basic shooter. I
Side-scrolling.
really dug the art style on it. It's very color book cartoony-esque, but they did fill color in the lines. So they didn't go outside.
Yes.
You have to handle objectives like picking up. There's like some objectives where you get a horn and you have to take out all these subs. You have secondary objectives where you have to kill aquatic life or things like that.
What happens when you get the secondary objectives again? Is it health or is it time?
It just it adds kind of to points, time, and thing at the end. Yeah, it's just more like
I couldn't remember.
yeah, you don't have to finish it to end the level. But what I really liked about the game, I played it out for the time limit, but it was one map, I would call it map, or one screen. But you would just keep changing up. So one, you had to protect a boat.
Yeah.
For a little bit, and then the other was I think there was I forgot the other one after that. But you just work on objectives. What got me was the
Mine
art
were mostly
style.
just shooting things.
Yeah, shooting
I don't
things.
think I had to protect anything.
Yeah, there's a boat full of refugees that comes over the top,
I
and
didn't
then
get that.
you get to save them a little bit. Yeah, which is really odd because the art style's got a very like cartoony, like you almost look like a kid driving a little submarine.
Yeah.
Like I imagine this as a kid in a bathtub, just
And to
playing
be clear,
around.
these are sandwiches.
Yeah, well, no, not sub sandwiches. No,
Oh, well, okay.
submarines.
Shoot
You're shooting submarines. But
Submarines.
shooting
It's
submarines.
the evolution of burger time.
But really, it's a very simple game. But really, I think what got me was the art style, and I like too. Like you're in a sub, but you still have to get air, so you have to surface.
Yeah.
And the little kids like out, just
He
getting
pops
air
out of the cockpit.
I thought the polish was good, and for 80 points, it's worth checking out. I don't think it's not for everybody, but
no,
the
it is
style
pretty
won me
repetitive.
over. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
But it was pretty nice.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Awesome.
I checked out Little Acorns Deluxe from Team Petchkey for 80 Microsoft points. This is a light little cartoony platformer where you play the father in this squirrel family who's
Mr. Nibbles.
Mr. Nibbles, thank you, who's going out to collect acorns for the family. And so you go through different seasons, apparently. And as you collect acorns, when you get to the loads or the the tally screen at the end, like your family's sitting in their little tree and it's filling up with acorns, and there's like this line for year 2, and so there's lots of progress to be made there.
Nice.
And there are also power-ups throughout various levels, so there's some invulnerability and some super jump and things like that.
There's a weird hat. Yeah, they're all hats.
They're all
you
hats.
get.
There's a lot of hats in this game.
The invulnerability looks like a weird like rainbow trucker hat. And I didn't know what it was, and then I started knocking people out. I'm like, I gotta get this hat all the
like
time.
a helmet.
I don't know,
because you barrel into people.
And then you had the propeller head. For
but there's also these enemies that you can either dodge or you can jump on. They're just like caterpillars and ladybug spiders.
yeah, they were spotted spiders.
Bees flying around. And later on you get this rope that you can start swinging with, which is actually quite a bit of fun because you can launch yourself through the air to grab more acorns or other sorts of objects.
And you do like a barrel roll when you're going through the air. You can take out enemies. I didn't think.
You do. Yeah,
I thought that was
you can
really
use it
awesome.
offensively. I thought that was cool as well.
Yeah, especially for those bees.
Yeah, and then there's in addition to collecting the acorns, I mean, you have to collect all the acorns in the level in order to exit out of the level. But levels may also have other things to collect, like sometimes you have your children running around and you have to collect them while you're grabbing acorns, but they move. And
your children squirrels?
Yeah, children squirrels. Yeah, they're these little itty-bitty guys hopping around. And then once you've collected all the acorns, you can also collect fruit.
Yeah.
So there'll be 5 fruit that you can collect. Collecting the fruit is easy, but if you're going for like the speed run totals, because you get all sorts of bonus points at the end for things that you've done. But if you collect all the fruit, then you unlock a customization thing for the dude. So you can customize your little squirrel guy. And so like the first ones, after the first 3, he was wearing a little fez with a mustache and a red tie.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so, it's just goofy little cosmetic things, but but it's kind of fun.
Art style on it was fantastic.
I loved the art style in it.
The color was really good.
And the controls were really tight too.
Yeah, I thought they were like they felt loose, but then I adapted really quickly.
Yeah,
like, I guess I didn't expect it to move as fast almost.
Right,
and that's kind of
pretty quickly.
It's kind of what Battle Sub had too, where like all of a sudden you were moving faster than you thought it would be. I guess.
Did you see how much it was?
80 points.
Yeah,
it's a cheap one.
Nice.
It's a lot of fun, and it's one of those games where I reached the end of the 8-minute demo, and the little screen comes up. I'm like, oh, that was 8 minutes already.
Yeah,
because like I was just having a ton of fun playing through it.
That's good.
And some of the other levels look pretty cool too. Yeah, because there was like a winter one and like in some of the screens. But yeah, that art style
different
was
seasons.
Sweet.
Yeah. Cool.
Speaking of awesome art style, Super Santa Slayer sold for 80.
I did not play this one.
Sold for 80 points from Grizzly Studios. So this is like a Santa Wonderland inspired Atari 2600 Mortal Kombat.
Wow.
Yeah,
it's a hell of a mashup.
yeah. The graphics,
break that down.
The graphics are hardcore Atari 2600, very, very basic, pixelated, blocky. Don't know why I'm even talking about this on the show. Because it's not that good of a game, but the fact that you can just download this and play it for free and try it out. It's a 2-player fighter.
Okay.
I did not play the 2-player fighter. I just played the regular fighter against the CPU, and you fight. I think it was an evil snowman, a reindeer. The other one was and you have a santality.
Santality.
Okay.
So he does like this uppercut, and they go flying, and then like. The screen's kind of neat because it moves, and there'll be like presents stacked up, or there'll be like a little elf watching you fly, and then he lands on a tree, and then if you're a snowman, it's white, but it's just red blood.
Yeah.
And it's like Santality.
Mentality.
Really simple game. Not too much to it, but there was just something about I was like, I gotta try this out. And then when I play it, normally I don't mention
More
that kind of stuff.
concept than execution.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and some I like it too because some of the villains, or not villains, but some of the guys you're fighting against, you can just hold block and then do a low kick because they're all high kicks, So you can kind of break them. Really, once you find out how they're fighting, you can,
Santa's dirty.
So do you have to be Santa?
I believe so.
Okay.
In the trial, it says there's I think 6 playable characters in the 2-player. So you probably get to play as a snowman, and
You need to be the elf. Odd job, that stuff.
Yeah, just punch him in the balls all the time.
Crouch punch.
Yeah, crouch punch. But the Santa's all buff, and he's all big with no shirt on, but he's all pixel. We're checking out. I mean, it's not gonna hurt your hard drive. You're not paying any money for it. You might be embarrassed that you played it, but just check it out. Super Santa Slayer. I thought you were gonna be killing Santas. No.
Yeah, that's what it was.
What a letdown.
Yeah, exactly.
The great game with a terrible name is Grid Space Shooter.
Yeah.
From Meh Games for 80 Microsoft points.
That's a fantastic studio name.
I think that's pretty much their attitude towards naming it. No, but this is actually a really cool game. It's a high intensity twin stick shooter. You're a spaceship flying around, blah blah blah. But what's one of the really nice aspects of it is you get to choose between 3 different ships, and all the ships have different stats. So there's like speed, firepower, and mobility.
Yeah.
And then, in addition to that, all 3 ships have different abilities.
Yeah.
So, for example, I only played through with 1 ship so far. I think I might pick this one up, but I only played through 1 ship, and with that one, it had like this gliding ability that allowed you to go faster while still shooting in 360 degrees. And then it also had like this bullet time ability, so you could slow things down, which was kind of nice. And I used quite a bit. And so. It's your basic twin stick shooter in a lot of respects, but I like how enemies come in waves. Like they'll come in like in these big flocks, and they'll kind of announce where enemies are going to be coming from as well.
I like that about it.
Not that you can always pay attention to that, but and it seemed to progress pretty well. Like the first stage is where they're teaching you how to play the game, and it does have a built-in tutorial for each of the ships, which is nice. It took it nice and slow so you could kind of figure out just blast enemies, but then like all of a sudden all these shooting enemies started coming in like later in the game. There are various secondary weapons like the Nova Bomb, which was pretty cool because you can launch that and hold it down, then let go and it explodes around. There were like these seeker missiles.
Did you get any seekers?
Yeah, did you get any others?
I think, and there was a weird, almost like a laser.
Okay.
It shot out this line, and then you could just like go up and down, and it just made a clear shot all the way through, which was really, and it took down the asteroids pretty good too. Like broke those up.
Yeah, because there's also just ambient asteroids kind of flying around. I don't think those hurt the enemies, or at least I wasn't paying attention.
Because they were able to fly through them.
Yeah, but then there's also these big bosses that show up.
Sweet looking.
Yeah, which reminded me a little bit of like. Score Rush, which we talked about 2 years ago. And so they are spinning around and shooting out in all different directions, and they have shields, and I like how they have like a little like laser sight almost, so you can kind of see which direction the guns are going to be pointing, because it turns a little bullet helly at some points. Which is why the bullet time on that one ship was very useful. But yeah, it's a lot of great action. I had a lot of fun with it.
I was I thought it was just another twin stick shooter.
Yeah,
and the things that
especially when it first started.
Yep, and when the things that they incorporated with it, I did play the other. I guess there's 4 ships total in the trial.
4? Wow.
Yeah, at least that's what they say in the write up. But they only 3 are playable in the trial, and they show one of the looks like a little bee from. Whatchamacallit, from Galaga, the little bees.
Yeah.
It looked like that, and that was not one of the ones you picked from. It had almost like a rainbow tail to it. So maybe that's when you get
an unlock.
Yep. Yeah. But the other one was like there was one that had a shield,
right,
and then a teleport, and then another one had it was like more of a rapid fire.
Right, that was the high firepower one, right?
And then that one had a weird that one had the teleport, and the other one I thought that was what I really liked about it was like these different aspects to this twin stick, and the fact that you could switch between the ships, not on the fly, but be able to play.
You could change, different
mix it up, and then like when those big bosses show up, that was like
they're pretty nice.
Yeah, because you move over to the other side of the screen, and there would be one sitting there like, oh Lord,
all of a sudden there'd be all this green fire coming from the other side of the screen. Like, whoops,
you're like, I
guess I got something to do.
I don't want to go over there, but like he was like Craig was saying, it was neat because. I'll like go around the outside on a twin stick shooter, and this has those little arrows that come out. That would it really helps because when enemies are coming out, there'll be little arrows showing that they're coming out. So then I just get away from the wall.
I always hate cheap deaths where enemies come in spawn from the side, right on top of you.
Yeah, you're just like run right into them. But
that's very nice.
Really. For 80 points, I thought it was, awesome.
It's really solid. It ramps up. Like, when I first started, I'm like, oh, well, this is pretty average, twin stick shooter fare. But it ramped up, and once it was going, I was really into it. There's lots of little subtle things to it as well. Like, if you watch on the ship that I was talking about, if you're like shooting in one direction and then you immediately turn to shoot 180 degrees behind you, like the fire, there's like this little animation as the wings sort of morph around to recalibrate the ship, and it's nice little details to that. It's not just the ship swings around; it does like this little complex transformation or something.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I really like it.
Yeah, it's definitely worth checking out. I probably will end up. I haven't erased it from my hard drive, so I mean, it's $1.
I think I'm gonna pick it up.
Yeah.
A whole $1?
Yeah, it looks good. I've got to finish out what I got from indie games. Sorry, Genix.
It's all right. We'll just wait. We're just doing a show. Don't worry about it.
So there's Genix.
Your time.
There's Genix, which is another twin stick shooter esque type game. Whereas this one you use the trigger. You move with both, like you move directionally with your right, like you move the camera, like your axis is, I guess it would be, and then you move the ship with your left. But anyway, this is Genix, sold for $240 from XPod Games UK. Very simple art style to it. It's line art, and it's kind of
like the neon line art.
No, it's just the white lines.
Oh, okay.
And then you're kind of on this like space background.
Oh, okay.
And you're in a maze essentially, and you're moving through the maze, and it's pretty cool because you can zoom in to where you're almost like on top of the ship, or you can zoom out to see the whole entire maze. And you have to get to certain rooms to open certain doors. So there's different key cards. It follows all the same kind of game mechanics that with most type maze games, but it's very, very simple, but there was just something about it that really kind of like grabbed me. You do have to pick up ammo, which I found out early on.
Okay.
I have this
way.
twin stick shooter esque,
like unlimited?
mindset. So I'm like going, and then all of a sudden it's like out of ammo. I was just like,
What?
I gotta find some ammo, and they're not really easy to find. There's not a lot, so just kind of conserve your energy. But for the game and the way that it's done, I just thought it was really simple, but. The 240 points, I would go for grid space shooter over top of it, but it's still really neat. I like the aspect.
So is it a little bit like a dungeon crawler then?
Oh, almost.
Yeah, okay.
Almost in that sense, where it's got the skins of all these games, but then you're almost doing a shooter to it. So
yeah.
But I liked it. I think it was more like that zoom in, zoom out maze, and it was just I in this style was really nice. So
Excellent.
Sounds interesting. Sounds like a lot of good indie games, actually.
yeah.
For a period there where we didn't have a lot.
Right.
Before the
Yeah.
holidays.
It was pretty dry before then.
Nice. I'll check them out.
Because I didn't even think Super
Since I
Saiyan
didn't.
Slayer came out after the New Year, I think.
Oops.
I think, or after Christmas.
Or maybe that's what Santa does in his downtime.
Exactly.
It's like Christmas is over.
probably a whole
now I got to get
backstory.
into the whole fighting circle.
Tournament.
my underground fight clubs.
That's how he puts his guys in order in the North Pole.
Oh, let's go. All right, so that's done with indie, right?
Yeah.
XBLA would be our next.
Alrighty. Where do we want to start?
I don't care.
Retro City Rampage?
Let's
Go
do
chronological
that.
order. I guess it's not
Retro
chronological.
City Rampage.
From V Blank Entertainment.
Finally out.
Finally out.
1,200
I
Microsoft
hated
points.
it.
You didn't hate it.
It did not live up to any type of expectation I had. It blew them all away. Like, I was like, wait a minute. What is this game doing to me?
It didn't live up to him. It surpassed
I'm
him.
like, what is this game?
It dominated him.
This game is going to give me a brain heart attack.
A brain heart attack.
I think it's called an aneurysm.
Where the heart in my brain dies.
I think that's...
Seriously. There's so much things going on in this game. I love it.
Yeah.
There is, yeah. I mean, it's the big draw for it. I think it's big gimmick. I hate to call it a gimmick, but that's the only word that came to my mind.
Sure.
Is the sort of nostalgia hook. There you go.
How about the big hook?
Thank you. That's a better word. Is these nostalgia pop culture references for video games and various other things as well.
That are nonstop.
They are nonstop.
And layered.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like there's one thing is happening, but there's like 12 references in it.
Right. And then on top of that, it's a very high-speed sort of arcade action done in a very retro style. Yeah, and I thought it was pretty good. Sean, you bought it. I've seen...
Well, you actually got a review copy.
I got a
of it.
review copy.
Okay.
Because I was begging for it for so long, I think.
Yeah, I did.
It has Avatar items.
Yes, it does.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I was pretty impressed with that. A nice little coat, leather coat off the hat, and then I think there's a pompadour. His pompadour.
Yeah.
mullet that he rocks.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
But the game, I haven't gotten too far into the game, mission wise, because I just spent a lot of time tooling around,
Right.
and like looking at the design of like the buildings, or going into shops, or looking at cars, and just like the whole feel of like it feels like the original like Grand Theft. You know,
like the old
top down, old top down Grand Theft. That when I first like tried it, I was like, "This ain't Grand Theft," because I had already played the 4 or 3. Yeah, I'm lost now. But and then you run into this, get into the story, and the story's so crazy because you have like Back to the Future, Bill and Ted's Wild Adventure, Bogus Journey, or whatever it is.
Excellent
adventure. I got the bogus.
They were wild stallions with a Y.
I got the Bogus Journey right, but you get all that little mashed up, and it's a crazy ride.
Yeah.
Paperboy was in there. Not like the rapper Paperboy.
I was going to ask if there's a rapper called Paperboy.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
That's my. Why is there a rapper named Paperboy?
I don't know.
Is that true?
Yes.
Okay. Anyway, did you get to
BOI?
Did you get to the areas where the levels sort of emulate other games?
Well, I had there was one level where it had this Metal Gear. Old school Metal Gear vibe where it was
like NES Metal Gear.
You had to hide in all the trucks.
Nice.
And it had, and then you go down like sewer. There's like green sewer tunnels, and you pop up somewhere else down the road, and it's just like okay. There's just I can't even.
It's jam packed.
It is.
It is. For me, that almost works against it, though.
Well,
just a little bit. Only because I think the action and the jokes kind of work against each other, because it's when I'm playing it, like when I get into the arcade aspect of it, I'm blazing through and just like things are blowing up and I'm shooting everything and I can't pay attention to a damn thing. And it wasn't until like my second try through that I realized I had killed Ninja Turtles in the demo. I'm like, or the A-Team, and I'm like, those things were there? I was just shooting guys.
Yeah.
And so, it's not, I don't really consider it a detriment, but it's interesting that the two don't really blend as well together. If you're getting into one, then you kind of have to sacrifice the other one a little bit.
I feel the same way. And you gifted it to me on Steam around my birthday back in November. And it finally came out on the XBLA, and I still hadn't sat down with it. I played it a little bit, like started it, and hadn't gotten back to it. And I played the demo through on arcade when it came out.
Yeah.
And I played that demo, and I'm like, you know what? I might just buy it, and I can get all my achievements, and I can play, with the controller. It's still only what, $10, right?
No, it's
is it 15? Okay, it's 1,200. Okay,
1,200.
Yeah.
But regardless, I'm like, there's everything I would love about this game. I'm gonna love it. I've been looking forward to it for 3 years now, 2.5 years, whatever. So, but I ran into that same problem that you're talking about. It was so much overload. Like everything
it almost made it forgetful or forgettable at the end
because I wasn't remembering key pieces.
Exactly,
because so much was happening. So what happened is that it almost felt like it was punching me in the face.
Right.
And so I was like, I really do want to play this, but I can't even remotely do it right now. So I wasn't in the mood for it, I think, is the problem.
Yeah.
Even after waiting for so long for it. So, and I still haven't gotten back to it now.
Yeah. My suspicion is that is primarily that's going to be heaviest just in those Grand Theft Auto style levels.
Yeah.
That's why I was asking about if you got to the other levels, because I knew those existed where it sort of turns into like there's a Ninja Turtles level, like the sewer swimming levels that everybody loved. And so
disarming the bombs.
Terrible. I figured at that point you'd kind of have to slow down, and where the arcade gameplay was blending with the references.
Yeah. I like it just enough that it is like so much is happening all at once, and I do find myself tooling around more than I do mission.
There's a free roam mode too.
Yeah, and I don't use that. I use my regular gameplay, but and then they also
you use free roam just on your own.
Yeah, and they have the bonus missions, or not the bonus missions.
Well, they're sort of challenge missions. You unlock them by doing special things in the regular game.
And those I found very difficult. I don't know. I don't know if like I haven't gained like fast shoes.
Yeah.
Because some of the time on those, I'm like, how am I supposed to even do this? Or like, there's like the one where you set all these people on fire, and then before the time runs out, you have to hit a fire extinguisher. So then it's like staying.
I saw that part. Yeah.
So you stay next to a fire extinguisher the best you can, but then like, oh, there's more people, so you go set them ablaze, and yeah, it's just running around being crazy. And also the one thing I like, the arcade aspect and the old school aspect, like sticks with me because I'll go into shops, like, and I'll be chased by cops. So I think if I go in there, they're not gonna, you know, this is an old school game. No, they come in and start beating you up, like really.
And Sean's playing an NES game and like just wants to run in and reset everything, and then run back out.
That's what it feels like when I'm playing it, and then I'm like, and then the references hit, and I'm like realizing, oh, I'm playing a newer game, and
Did you guys mess around with the display at all?
I played. Yeah, I checked out some of the older or the other display options.
Yeah, because it automatically does the sort of arcade cabinet side things, but you can switch it to different TVs. The Game Boy, which also switches up graphical styles as well. Yeah. Graphical? Is that the correct word? Graphic styles?
It works. Graphical.
But you know, it's, and again, that feeds into that whole nostalgia aspect of the game, which I think is going to be pretty essential for a while.
I think so,
especially with how rapid fire the cameos and jokes become. You know, I think you're going to have some prior knowledge about what they're talking about.
And I also think that, I mean, I also felt like there was some that I didn't get.
Yeah,
you know, because it's so widespread that it's covering so much ground that it's almost impossible.
Yeah,
you know, I just don't have that. Knowledge base for everything.
I think the arcade action for it is actually quite enjoyable. So you know, even if you're not getting the references, you can probably still have
fun doing what you're doing. Yeah. So you enjoyed it quite a bit.
I did. I just haven't returned to it because I just find myself just diddling around. So
yeah. You mean in the game?
You often find yourself diddling around.
Both.
That's the problem.
Hey, Avatar Awards.
Who can hold a controller?
Yeah. I got Kinect.
And I do. I mean, obviously, I do want to play it still. So I know I'm still going to sit down and sink into it at some point. I just got to find the right time to do so.
Do it. Them putting awards always helps me out.
Do it.
So, I don't know why.
Well, good luck.
I know.
I can't wait to hear more about it when you get further. All right. So should we move on to the cave?
Let's do it.
This week's offering.
Remember your failure in the cave.
What? Are you all right? You ready to continue?
I'm good.
All right. So the cave, 1,500 points.
Yes.
No, 1,200 points, $15.
Yes.
US. It's from Double Fine. Specifically, it's from Ron Gilbert.
Yes.
Of Death's Bank, Monkey Island, all those fame, right? I'm enjoying it quite a bit. I played the demo on Wednesday night. I checked it out.
Yeah.
My wife was actually really looking forward to checking it out with stuff that she'd seen. She'd actually seen more info than I had.
All right.
She'd been following it a little closer. So we checked out the demo. I knew then that I was going to buy it. Because it was a blast. Or I just really enjoyed the style of it. Ended up buying it, and I finished one playthrough so far.
Nice.
Did you picked it up, Sean?
I picked it up, yeah.
Did you get it, Craig?
I just have the demo right now.
You played the demo.
Yeah, that the demo set me up really good for a buy on that.
Yeah.
You do that jump, and then it's like, oh, that's all you
do. You want to play some more?
And I was like, you know I do. And he's like, well, thank you. And I was like, hey.
I had watched the trailer because I just wanted to see like the characters that were involved in there. And so it pretty much tells you how to solve that first major puzzle.
Oh, does it really?
in the trailer. So, and it's got pretty much the same narration as the demo. So for me, the demo was like, well, that was absolutely nothing new for me.
Nothing new.
Other than getting to actually jump around.
So the story starts with the cave is speaking to you about these 7 people that you can choose from to play in the game.
Right.
You have 7 different characters that you can choose to play. Right. And you play through as 3 of them. And basically you're searching for something in the cave specific to that person or to each of those characters. And so as you go through the cave, it's basically a side-scrolling platformer. That you're jumping around in, and it's like a point and click adventure, but in that platforming setting.
Yeah,
which is weird, but it works really well. Where there's objects that you pick up and you have to use in certain areas. You don't have an inventory system, so you can only carry one thing at a time, but you have 3 different characters, so they have to kind of work in cohesion with each other.
And they actually carry the stuff.
And they do actually carry the stuff.
I like that.
But you can only carry one thing at a time, usually. So, but you're working through and solving puzzles and moving through this cave. There are set pieces that are always there when you play through, like kind of adjoiners to other levels that you get into.
Yeah.
And those levels are specific to the characters that you're playing.
Right. Everybody's got their own story. They're all coming to the cave to search for something.
Right. There's obviously, the normal Double Fine humor in there in a lot of that. There's not a lot of narration, but there is in between some of the levels, and that stuff is pretty funny. Or when some things happen in levels.
Yeah, I heard they worked
narration.
a lot to balance that out so it wasn't overpowering.
I would agree with. Yeah, I found that to be the case because it's not constant.
Yeah, or it's not that repetitive. Like when you come into like a cave. Ooh, look at this place.
Right, exactly. They change it up quite a bit.
Yeah, good.
I had a lot of fun with it. I really liked the character specific levels that you would go into.
Yeah,
I thought they were really well done.
Yeah.
I'm looking. It instantly makes me want to play again and play with other people.
Yeah.
There are 7, and like I said, you do 3 at a time.
Yeah.
I wish there would have been 9.
Yeah,
I hate that you have to double up on the third playthrough.
Sure,
it's a bizarre number.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah,
but whatever.
Of all the numbers,
I'll worry
7.
about it then.
What?
I know. Why would you do that? But I had fun with it. I like the puzzles. I legitimately got stumped a couple of times.
Right.
It was one of those games where I found it really beneficial for me to stop playing. They're not very long playthroughs, so you can probably do it in 3 to 4 hours.
That's
I
what
would
I've
guess
heard.
a total setting, or a total playthrough. But it was times where I had to like step away, and then I would come back to it, and I'd be like, all right, now what do I need to do here? And then I would instantly remember or figure it out or, clear my head, and I would do it. And then you feel like a genius. Even though it's a simple thing. And you're like, yeah, I'm smart.
Yeah.
Even though I couldn't figure it out for a half hour. But whatever.
I felt the same way about it. Like there's 2 or 3 different times I was like, how am I going to do this? And then like all of a sudden my brain would just kick in, go, that's how you would do it.
Yeah.
You would take the dynamite and put it in water. I wouldn't do that because I've seen movies and they tell you not to do that. So
yeah, exactly.
Right. But it's a little, I got a Limbo type of vibe from it just because of the way that the levels are set up with the platformer and the puzzler. But this one's a little bit more involved. Not as dark, but a little dark humor.
Yeah.
I found, it is pretty dark. It's an all ages game, obviously, but there is some dark themes to it.
Yeah.
For some of the people's stories, well, most of them.
It's not uncommon for Double Fine games.
Yeah,
right.
True. Yeah.
And so it almost feels, and the way that you're playing through the cave with them searching for something, it almost feels like I'm playing through a Twilight Zone episode.
Oh yeah.
And that's how it kind of feels.
Ooh, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
at
I
the
could see
end
that.
of everybody's little story, it's like you're learning some lesson through it, and it almost becomes like a Twilight Zone-esque kind of deal.
Speaking of their stories, you also pick up there are these glowing symbols in the back and
cave paintings.
The cave paintings for each character. Each one has their own sort of symbol, and then they pick those up, and you get a little slide, which is very reminiscent of the memories that you would get back in Psychonauts. And so I in the demo you only get the one. There's only 2, one for each character, but. I assume those are kind of a narrative build.
They are, yeah. They're telling the whole story.
Okay.
And you play their level, which their level isn't really necessarily their origin story or their history thing. It's just whatever they're, I think it kind of just gives you insight in, what they're looking for, and it kind of gives you insight into the character and what, like, the kind of person that they are. But those cave paintings that you find do tell their origin story that kind of led up to them getting to the cave, I believe.
Yeah.
So
I see.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned your wife Erin was very excited about this as well. Did you guys actually play the co-op?
We tried, and this actually leads into my issue with the game because it's not flawless for me.
The co-op is a fucking joke.
It's terrible.
It is the worst. I
agree with you.
I wrote a little bit about it on. I like the game. I played through it single player after playing co-op, and I actually had a lot more fun doing it that way. But my wife and I were also very excited about it, especially because it was co-op.
Agreed.
Because we've been playing a lot of adventure games together, but that largely involves both of us thinking about things, but one person controlling what's happening on the
so
screen.
does this one.
Essentially what they did is they took the single player aspect and they just allowed you to add another controller in there, because the biggest problem with it is the goddamn camera. And the camera only focuses on one player.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because they don't split screen it.
No,
they need to split screen it,
or at least make
fine.
it so that everybody's in the same screen.
Wide it out, zoom it out.
Exactly,
because it does do that.
How the multiplayer ends up being is a pass and play kind of thing.
Exactly,
you might as well have one controller. There's
That's
no
exactly
reason.
What I was about to say.
The only reason to have a second controller in this game is to waste a battery.
Right, because they're just
run
going to
down.
sit there waiting for things. And we even set up, like in the demo puzzle, where all right, spoiler. You're trying to get
This is in the demo. Okay,
you're trying to get the monster thing to and then you catch it with the claw.
Yeah.
Right. And so you have to call out the monster with the bell down below, and you have to trigger the claw at the machine up above. So I have my wife escort me all the way up to the machine so I can stand in front of it. I get in front of it. I test it out to make sure I'm standing in the right position. And then I just let go of my controller. She goes down to the bell, rings for the dinosaur thing to come out. I press X. I press X again. I press X again. Nothing's happening. So I fucking realize I have to switch the camera back to me, so then I can press X,
Right.
and then
So you're just playing one player.
How it works is
Exactly.
it's only one
There's
player at a
absolutely
time.
nothing cooperative about
That's
it.
Right,
Weird.
it's only one player at a time. So what happens is you select your different characters with the directional pad. Left, up, and right are the three different characters that you switch between.
Right.
So on the second player controller, if they hit one of those directional pads, they take control of that person, and now they're essentially in control of the game.
They're the main player, yeah.
So now they're doing everything. But for the first player to take back control, he basically would need to hit the directional pad again, take over that character, and now the camera moves and you're on yours.
Which is what you do in the single player to switch between characters.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But now it's like you're having to just on the other one. It's much easier to do on the fly if you're just by yourself.
Also, you can steal somebody else's character. Like if my wife is playing the up character and I press up, I take over that.
You just take it
character,
over.
and she's stuck
It's-
in mine.
it's
She got very
literally-
confused by that when I was trying to figure
It's
out.
literally
how
the
the camera
same thing as just handing them the controller themselves. And it's
Exactly.
less confusing to do that. Because you know what you're doing. At that
works. Exactly.
You can play as this person.
It's
now.
really a bummer.
It feels.
it's too
I mean,
bad.
I hate to really, put in, actions onto developers because, of course, I know nothing about it. But it really feels like an afterthought because they just took the single player experience and allowed you to control.
And I kind of hate that they're
additional characters.
that they're kind of selling it as you
They
can play
are.
multiplayer and like solve puzzles together, and really you can't.
No.
outside of just sitting there next to the person saying, "What do you think I should do?"
I know.
because it's really the same thing. And in fact, I think that would alleviate some of my other issues with the game, which are that it's kind of tedious in some areas, and you get that way because you have to move 3 people through the level.
Right.
So it's like. I basically go one guy and I go through and I kind of explore the whole level and see where everything's at, see what these things are that you can pick up and do, kind of put pieces together as far as, okay, I know I need to get this and get that. Well, now I have to traverse the entire level again with the other 2 people because they're probably going to be involved in some area.
Yeah.
And so there's no way to call those people to you. There's
Right.
no way to have them all kind of meet up at a certain place. It's manually moving them 3 pieces at a time.
Yeah.
And it gets kind of, and there's a lot of backtracking. There's a lot of backtracking in it.
Yeah.
Which isn't a problem. I mean, that's kind of how the puzzle thing is. But
Sure.
it'd be nice if you could, if you had an option to split screen it, like I said, you could have working in tandem, like,
Right.
at the same
Well,
time.
here's what I
and not
thought.
be wasting time going
as
back
I
and
was
forth.
as I was playing it, I was like, well, what would be awesome is if they went instead of just this completely organic sort of cave structure where you're just going forward at your own pace and where you are is where you are, would be to instead have sort of screens where you move into a certain area and it's zoomed out so you can see basically the whole cave structure for that area.
Oh, gotcha,
And
yeah.
there are things to do. So then you can have co-op and have people running around doing various things, doing their own exploring, just fucking around if they want to. And then you move on to the next screen and you can maybe go back and forth. Maybe puzzles are still connected screen to screen, but every time you move to a new screen, then it brings everybody over at the same time. So then there's if you're playing single player, there's less sort of walking everybody over.
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass.
That was one of the big things that I was happy about the game after I figured out you had to take all 3 people through, is that when you kind of got to the end, they would catch up with you.
yeah.
There are points that
Which
they
is
will come up.
points.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like the better part to it because I was like, I do not want to get all these guys through,
I know.
and then they just kind of showed up. So, but that's bad news about the 2-player. That's just really that's depressing.
all these things feed into each other too because
Or 3-player.
Well, I mean, even like co-op. I mean, a
Yeah.
split-screen co-op on that game would be awesome.
Yes, it would
Especially
be.
some of those levels where then you wouldn't. Someone could hit a switch for you, and then you would be able to do
What's
the
really
action.
frustrating about that Switch thing is that you can still move and jump off screen. You just can't do things.
Yeah,
right, exactly.
So, because I would fall off the screen and then my wife would have to come find me, or I would have to steal the camera from her and she'd have to wait for me to get back up to where she was. It was really very frustrating.
I found it to be buggy in some areas too.
I had a problem
where
with
I've heard the Xbox One is kind of buggy.
I got stuck. So my character got stuck on a thing, like just floating in the air. And so the only thing I could do was restart. Now, luckily, it saves on its own kind of at certain spots. So and you can save and exit at any time. So when I got stuck, I could just save it, and it really would just kind of reset me a little bit as far as placement. But everything I'd done action-wise was still already done. Right. So that was nice. But I also had a freeze issue, and I don't know if it was the game. My Xbox has also been having some problems lately, so it might have been my Xbox problem. But I also dreaded, like, I did that whole first... So I did the demo first, right?
Yeah.
Then I bought the game the next night and played it. Was having to go through that demo thing again, right?
Yeah.
So I get almost to the end, and my Xbox freezes. So I had to restart that again. I'm like, I do not look forward to doing this all again. And that's where the tedious part comes in, because even on the multiple playthroughs, you're going to have to do those connector piece stages multiple times. You're going to have to do it essentially 3 times.
Right.
And maybe even more if there's, I don't know all the achievements yet. So there might be more that require even more playthroughs. But to at least get everybody's story, you're going to have to do it 3 times. And so those ones that are the same, while it'd be nice to go into those new levels, those ones that are the same are going to be really kind of just a chore to get through. Whereas they wouldn't if I could split screen and do it with a friend, or another player. I hate that is. I still enjoy the game. I like what it does. I like the adventure. I like the story, but I just really wish, since they were selling that multiplayer thing, which is part of the reason why my wife was so excited about playing it. She's like, I want to see how this plays. And then we played it. I'm like, well, this sucks.
Yeah.
Like, as a multiplayer, it just does not follow through at all.
The one
depressing.
I had one problem with the bug, and this was weird because it was right at the end of the demo. Yeah. And so I bought the game, and then when I went back to the screen, it just showed the waterfall and nothing else, because it wouldn't focus in on one character. So then when I finally realized I have to swim over to shore before the camera would zoom to that guy, like, I didn't know. I was blind. I could hear someone swimming, but I couldn't see anything because it was actually down below. It was only showing the one screen. So I got that person up. Well, the other 2, I couldn't switch over to them. So each time I had to start the game and restart it, get one down.
Oh man,
start the game,
sucks.
restart it, and get one down. That was the last time I had a problem, and
that's weird.
I couldn't switch on the fly.
Bizarre.
It wasn't giving me that option, and so I was like, this is not good. I just bought this game.
Yeah,
and then after I hadn't had a problem since.
Okay, that's good.
Okay, yeah, that's nice.
In the full playthrough I've had, I probably had 3 or 4 bugs that where I either got stuck in something or something happened and I thought I was going to get stuck, but I didn't. Luckily, like, I swam and I went to jump out of the water and it didn't, and I swam through the rocks. And I'm like, well, I'm going to be stuck in those now. But I went back and it let me climb back up.
Good.
So I was good. So I don't know. It's interesting.
All right.
I mean, I still like it.
Yes. But it has some caveats to it.
Yes. It does.
Especially if you're looking at the multiplayer.
Be warned.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Be aware of that.
Oh, man. That's depressing.
Well, let's double up on Double Fine, shall we, with Kinect Party, which came out over the holiday season as well.
Kinect Party.
It's sort of an update, expansion, reimagining of Double Fine's Happy Action Theater.
I thought I'd played this game before.
You kind of had.
I kind of had.
People who had purchased Happy Action Theater had the ability to buy this at a discount, or maybe it was free for them or something. It was.
I think it was free if you bought the other one.
It could be. I can't remember exactly what it is because I didn't buy the other one, but which makes a lot of sense.
Nobody else did either that's listening. So.
It was free for a while over the holidays, and that's when I picked it up.
So they don't know.
And so I have no idea what it's costing now because I'm pretty sure that's over with. But
I thought so too, but then I thought I saw on the dashboard this week even that it was saying get it for free, but it might have been just telling you to get that shell thing for free where maybe it gives you a couple things.
Maybe,
and then you add in other parts.
We got a bunch of stuff though.
I don't know how it works
because it is selling, additional mini game channels that you can add to it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I saw that on the add-on channel,
okay.
And so similar to Happy Action Theater, it's a bunch of mini games / augmented reality, play around scenarios that switches around. This one seems to kind of just do an automatic switch every once in a while and randomizes a bit. And is actually a bunch of fun. We played around with it a little bit on New Year's Eve, and with other people, it can be entertaining. But I don't know if it would be something that you would play by yourself.
You mean other people than me?
I
was one that
got in there. Don't you deny this? He was okay because
hold on.
Okay,
I did get in there.
All right.
No, go ahead.
I did get in there.
Was
there hot lava involved?
There was a hot lava level. I don't know if you were on the hot lava one.
I might not have been.
But
there was a monkey.
See, I like the
or
hot
parrot.
I like the hot lava.
Jeremy jumped in on the minigame ones. There are some that are just the augmented realities, like
Yeah.
the hot lava one, and but then there are some that are actually little games that you're trying to do things with.
Yeah.
There was one where we were pirates and we were trying to dig up treasure in the sand, and then the treasure would give us sort of outfits and stuff.
Yeah.
That's where you got the parrot, and I had a pet of something. I don't remember what it was.
I don't remember either.
Anyway.
I don't know if it was before. I think it was before the New Year still. So that does count as my only Kinect game I played last year. I think.
Are you retroactively putting that onto your?
I made it in.
Your
I guess it's
best
my
of
favorite,
2012.
my best, and the worst in the same hand. It was all. I mean, it was all right for what it was.
Yeah. There was the running game where you were the pixelated dude and we were jumping over things,
and we were ducking and
we were shooting. we were shooting at each other. We were like on these clouds floating around and shooting lightning bolts at each other or something.
Supposed to shooting other things, I think, but we just ended up shooting each other. That's how it works.
Yes.
I don't normally play Kinect games, so this, like, to get in, but it was all of us, it was a group of us, and we were all just playing around. So I jumped in and did a couple of them, but I was done with it after about, what, like 10 minutes, if even, right? You did a lot. You did the whole thing when we were playing it.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Some of them were more fun than others.
I don't like that they don't tell you anything. Like, things just come up, and then you got to figure out what's going on.
It's like WarioWare.
Yeah.
That's true.
And it's not like anything was super complicated.
I know. What do I do here? I can't figure it out. Oh, I just dig sand. Got it.
Juggle the fireballs.
There was the fun one where we were all crushing a city, and then I got a dragon head, and I was breathing fire somehow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And you were killing all those shadow people?
Yes. Yes.
Those demons?
Those creepy shadow people. Yes, I forgot about
I don't know who was supposed to be the bad guy there. I think you were
because
saving the world.
I have a crappy Kinect setup in my room. It's not very bright, and I have a Kinect zoom on there, so it creates these fuzzy little images. And I think they're supposed to be tiny images of us.
Oh, do you think that's what they were?
Yeah.
But they ended up being these like shadow people
like
that
these
were like populating
blurs.
this like castle, and I'm like, destroy those shadow demons. Seriously, they're the worst.
That'd be the best if it was little versions of you guys. That's funny.
Then I could see us
Probably
saving
was,
it,
yeah.
probably.
The things like the photo ones got old really quickly, where it's like taking layered photos of you.
I don't know if you noticed or not when we were playing, but they really want you to share things.
They do, yeah, because you can share this on Facebook and all that stuff.
And it's like every time you finish something, they're like, do you want to share
Of
this?
course, an achievement tied to it.
No, I don't want to share any of this. Still.
I don't know. My fairy outfit was pretty awesome.
Well, there's that. And that wasn't even in the game.
Nice.
That was just what he was wearing. It was New Year's.
So I mean, it's nice if you really want to do something stupid for a little bit of time.
Yeah.
It does have sort of a limited time value in terms of the length that you're going to play. Kids, I think, are going to be really into it.
Yeah, kids. I mean,
a
obviously,
lot, and even parents playing with kids. There's a lot of fun stuff in there. It's not just totally dumb, as you might think if you look at it.
Yeah, you would. Kids, I think it'd be good. All of us grown adults sitting
There's
around.
the one where we had the boombox heads, and like I had a turntable deck.
Yeah.
And we were dancing around the music.
I think I had boombox feet at one time, didn't I?
I think you did, like, or
Something
rocket
like that.
boots or
I was
something.
like a robot. It's a dubstep one.
Yeah.
That they were doing. Yeah.
I'd play it.
I know you would.
And you can switch up the channels. You don't have to necessarily let it be completely random. If you want to switch a channel, then you can do that as well.
Nice.
Cool.
It's what it is.
What are you gonna do?
Demos.
I think they have another one, a pack type thing coming out, like the Pinball FX or like this here where you add packs to it. The Capcom game one that might be coming out.
Yeah, it's almost like
What is
the
this?
Arcade
Yeah.
thing, but for all the Capcom old games.
Yes, I did hear about that.
So they're doing the shell, and then
Yeah.
you would put in the other games from that.
Ghosts and Goblins. There it is.
It's everything that the arcade room should have been.
That's
Is that what you're talking
well,
about?
that's all I need.
Or
Anyway,
arcade room.
yeah, it was fun while it lasted.
Was it?
I thought so.
Yeah. All right. Demos. That's what we were going to do,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
What do you want to start with? We got Dead Space or
I thought
Revengeance?
We're not talking about Dance Central 3?
Well, that's a disc game.
Oh, that is.
Let's talk
Never
about
mind.
that. Yeah.
That is a disc
We'll
game. That's right. Sorry. I was in Kinect Corner.
That's all right.
There are multiple. Choose your own.
The corner,
signed in.
The corner opens to a room.
Do you turn this into Kinect Corner? Do you progress to demos? Turn the page.
We would progress.
It's a choose your own adventure.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I don't listen.
All right, tell me about
Demos?
Revengeance.
What
'Cause I didn't
about
play
some
this
Metal
one.
Gear Rising Revengeance? I was looking forward to the game.
Because it's gone more actiony, right?
It is very
What I've
action.
heard.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on. I'm so out of the Metal Gear like knowledge base and like history, and I played the NES old school Metal Gears, and then like the PlayStation 2 Metal Gears. I think I played a couple.
Where Raiden shows up in one of them.
Yeah, I think that was the last one I played. Was that solid?
I think so. I think
Two?
I think so.
Something-
Solid 2, yeah, because you're
something like
essentially the end boss battle is the same exact boss battle, but with Raiden. I think.
That is the last game I probably played in the Metal Gear franchise. I think I played some after that I probably started and like never went past like maybe an hour or two in where I'm like, I don't know what's happening at all. And I felt like that with this one. Like I don't know what's happening. But gameplay wise, outside of the story, they kind of give you a brief recap of what's going on. I know it's a passage of time.
4 years
Raiden's pretty
or
much
something.
become a robot at this point.
Ladytron.
He's become a robot.
Brotron.
And so the big hook for this game though is the manual sword play thing that you can do with all the cutting up everything. Almost everything in the game I think can be destroyed.
Yeah.
Cut up with your kick-ass sword.
Super sword.
So when you're coming up into battle, you hit your left trigger and it allows you free control, almost like a dual stick shooter with your sword. So the left stick is like you're aiming or you're like arranging your plane that you're using your sword on, and your right stick is kind of just swinging your sword all crazy ass. So you're cutting up things into multiple pieces. You can do a lot, and I think it kind of slows down time while you're in there.
A little bit, yeah.
Because
that makes sense. Because I saw there's one enemy who's like all robotic parts that can split apart and then like come back together, so he dodges your slices.
I didn't run into that, thank God.
Yeah.
Although I ran into enough problems.
There's
just
enough
using those controls in general.
That free slash or free slash mode or whatever they called it. There was a little bit like, especially the like getting the camera angle right.
I was having
found
so
myself-
much problems. I'm thankful you said that.
Yeah, and it just
I thought I was a retard.
but I had those were the same
Thanks.
problems where I'd get into a fight and I'd hit that. I'm like, I'm gonna fuck this guy up, and then all of a sudden,
You're looking at the sky,
and I'm soaring in the sky. I'm like, I'm not getting this guy at all.
And I tried, and I'm like, I fiddled with the controls, like the camera angles. I'm like, do I need to invert this? Do I need to not invert it?
Yeah.
Like, am I doing? And then I would do it, and I would be even worse. And so I went back to how everything was just preset because I don't know what I was doing wrong.
Yeah.
But there was quite a bit of a learning curve on the controls
Big
on that.
time.
Because just when you get in there and kind of pause everything out, I think it's that you're so focused on hitting the left stick to kind of arrange your vision like on the person that you're cutting that you're almost going extreme with it.
Yeah.
Because trying to use it in sync with your right thumb, that's going fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Because you're just going around trying to like slash everywhere, every direction. I'm doing all these hand motions in here. I know that doesn't help on the
taking
radio.
the mics out.
But
Boom, boom.
and so trying to be crazy with your right thumb, but then like be really surgical almost with the left, it doesn't work. I just found myself like completely pushing down on left and going crazy with my right. And so then I'm in the air doing nothing. So it seems like there's going to be a little nuance that you're going to have to probably get down with that. And it was really hard at the beginning for me.
Yeah.
And now I'm trying to do that at the same time. I'm also trying to follow on-screen instructions that are telling me to do this when you're fighting these enemies. And I'm like, I don't know what's happening because I'm too worried about like controlling the camera. And I was just dumb.
I thought the tutorial helped.
Yeah.
A little bit, but I mean, right when I got into action, it's the same thing where you get all like, oh, crap. Yeah.
It's fast.
But the thing, too, there's a plus to doing that because you're cybernetic or you're a cyborg and you're fighting cyborgs. And to get energy, you have to do that slash
slicing,
mode because then you get, there's like a quick time, hit a B, and then you rip out their heart and then you essentially, and then that's your energy.
Got it.
Yeah,
So-
like you get their nanites or whatever
Yeah.
that they want to. I don't remember the term they're using, but you basically can recoup energy from them if you're using your sword for that stuff.
Yeah, but mostly that's the way you get your energy, though. In the demo, I didn't really see anything laying around.
Like to get health back?
Yeah.
No,
So
I didn't
you pick up, you find lock boxes, and those usually have like some sort of grenade or some sort of hockey puck. I didn't use that thing. I don't know what it was. But
what was that? It was like some paste, genetic paste or something like that. I don't even know what it was.
I skipped over it. I was trying because There was a little kitty.
You get secondary weapons that I didn't ever use any of them.
Well, I have a hard time using the secondary weapons because you have to like actually hold a button down.
Yeah,
and so you're so used to just
weird
button smashing because you can regularly hit people. You have a heavy sword attack and a light sword attack. You don't have to go into that free mode, but if you want to get the energy, that's the way to do it. And some of those villains, I mean, some of those enemies, it was hard to do it because you fight this like weird dog Gravenger thing at the very end of it. Spoiler, but but he was hard to take down. It was a classic 3, hit him 3 times. You know,
I was having a really hard time with that whole parry thing, like for you to block. And it was like, it was telling you the left stick and X. But it wasn't telling you, like, you had to do it at a certain time. It wasn't telling you anything. And a lot of times I was getting hit, and before my guy could even get back, like, recoup his stance and turn around, he was getting hit again.
Yeah.
And so it was like you didn't even get an opportunity. If you got hit once, you were going to get hit 3 times.
Yeah.
And so I finally kind of got the hang of that after like the 8th time I died from that goddamn battle. And I was like, I seriously went in, I'm like, this is my last time and I am done because I'm getting frustrated. Like I was getting that guy, it has his health meter on there, and I was getting him down to like 89% and dying. And I'm like, I'm done. Like, I am done if I can't get past this. And I went in that next time and I got the hang of it and I totally finished it out. But that's, you know, I was so on the edge. Like, I am out of here.
Right, it's all about getting nanites and getting your energy up because that helps you out big.
Well, I couldn't get him past that first stage where I would even get an option. That's the problem. But then I kind of got the grasp of how to do the parry and kind of get the timing down of like waiting for him to do his attack and then hitting the left stick and then the X button at the same time. And so once that started flowing, it got a little better. I think you just need to play with it. And it's kind of brutal almost at the start with those controls.
It's smart to put the demo out. Kind of get it out there and just, you know.
Well, especially because it hasn't been on Xbox
at
all.
Yeah. But to get that out there and just let you know, hey, this is what we kind of got going on, and it might be a little bit hard to take at first. and I thought visually, I thought it looked good.
Yeah, it looks good.
The cutscenes are just top notch, and there is this little cat that you can't kill. It's just like little kitty.
Why'd you even try to kill it?
Because it looked weird. It looked like a long kitten.
I tried to kill it too.
Yeah, exactly.
Who doesn't try to kill it?
Like
Seriously, who doesn't try to kill everything you see?
I was chopping every palm tree I saw, and then I see a kitten. I'm like, all right. I'm like, if they're putting it in the game.
I had a problem at the beginning, though, because I went, I cut down that ramp.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't get up. And that kind of seems like a problem.
But, yeah. I didn't know you could do that.
That sounds like awesome. A problem that I've had in a computer game called Tiny and Big Grandpa's Leftovers or something. You have this laser and you can cut pretty much everything, and it, you know, you use that to solve puzzles and stuff. But you can also just basically cut and you're
screw
fucked.
yourself. I had to restart from my checkpoint, but I'm like, why would they even let me like cut off this thing? And like that became all of a sudden aware now that I had to be careful.
Yeah.
But they send you through this whole training thing beforehand where they're like, cut everything up.
Yeah.
And so I get there and I'm like, I'm going to cut everything up. And then I'm like, I can't jump that high. Now what do I do?
Oh, so you can take those out.
Yeah, you take out everything.
I didn't try cutting those.
That's what I was doing. I was like, I'm going to cut everything down. Cutting trees, cutting everything.
And then the design choices are a little weird because they got these walkers that moo. And they've got weird, like...
they got, like, human feet.
They got, like, yeah, they're, like, almost like a reptile human
I don't know what's going on.
But it's like a mech top to it, and it moves when it
shows
comes
up. It's like, moo.
It's like, moo, and then it lands. But you can chop their legs off. That's when that free slash is really cool, and it takes some damage for them, but it also leaves you way open too.
Right.
So that's a give and take with it.
What happens is you mentioned that you have the heavy and the light attack. So I was getting to the point where I was spamming the attack button, and then kind of once they've taken a hit or two, then they're kind of knocked back a second, and then you go into that free mode, and you can just start slashing them then because it almost slows down time, like we mentioned a little bit. So it's like you do a couple little jam attacks first, or like light attacks, and then you start doing that free mode thing, and you just tear everybody up.
Yeah.
And once I think I get the camera control down, it'll be much more enjoyable.
Yeah.
Like I see it's something that somebody's going to play with, and then they're going to be crazy with some of those slash things that they do. I'm going to take some time with it.
I had I wasn't going to rent this game, or I had really no high hopes for it. And the demo was enough to kind of make me go, I might check it out on the disc and just play through it a little bit. And
a couple weeks.
See how long until it frustrates me. As long as I can hide in a box and have a dog pee on me, I'll be fine.
Well,
but I say that about a lot of things.
I say that's just your motto.
Yeah.
The motto of Sean. Couple weeks, yeah.
Sometimes it's not even a box.
It'll be out in a couple weeks. So look forward to me playing the disc version then and saying I played about 2 hours of it and gave up.
I can see me getting really frustrated with it and
what
just
I'm saying.
throw it and just be like, I'm done with you.
Fuck this.
Yeah.
How about some Dead Space?
All right.
3.
Dead Space 3 from Visceral Games and EA and their mountains of contracts. Again, playing offline because I'm not going to fucking... I like how it's automatically set up now so that it's already got it highlighted for them to send you things.
Yes.
Via email.
Automatically. You want to
Yeah.
play this? You have to submit to everything.
Well, no, you can click it
Right,
off,
yeah.
but if you're not paying, if you're like the average person who's going to just be like, oh, I agree. Congratulations. You just got some emails.
And by the way, that's how my account got hacked.
Oh, yeah.
Through EA.
Oh, really?
My EA account.
Through their,
that you can't play if you don't sign up for.
Yeah.
no, you
Like-
can play.
Well, like Mass Effect 3?
Oh, well, maybe you have to have an account. But
Right.
Yeah.
And that's how my account got hacked. And that's how they hacked my shit.
Yeah.
Because it was from FIFA, which is EA.
Right.
And that's how it happened. That's
Oh,
the
yeah,
only way
FIFA.
that it got in.
They bought all that stuff.
Well, they have their origin thing
all the
now,
cards.
which is a little different. So, I don't know. Anyway,
Regardless.
So I played
it
offline.
sucks that you have to do all that stuff. But yes.
again.
So all three of us played it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Not the whole demo. I got scared.
I got scared
I'm
and
not
quit.
kidding. I'm not kidding. But we'll,
So, crafting. Craftwork.
Seems a little heavy.
A little bit. and
too much?
And you can buy things. Like you can do microtransactions to
No,
enhance
really?
your crafting.
I didn't see that. Oh,
They just
man.
announced that like this past week or
Oh,
something.
Jesus.
That's happening. Yeah, I mean, I kind of got sick of like picking things up and having the big purple banner come across and be like,
You got a piece.
weapon piece
Yeah.
acquired, and I'm like, oh, I don't care.
I know.
I really don't. I mean, I
I'm in the same boat as you.
I don't really care about creating my own.
I don't either.
weapons.
I don't either. And it seems like I'm not even. It's going to be one of those aspects in the game that I don't even bother with.
Right.
I'm going to play with my main weapons, but I almost did that in the original games.
Yeah.
Like my main cutter, I beefed it up, and that
Right.
was what I had until the end.
Yeah.
And most of the time, that's what I used. I get that way a lot with those games where I hang on to those one weapons anyway. So the crafting thing, while it's cool, I guess it's a neat addition. It's so much deeper than I want to go with that.
Oh, yeah.
Experience.
I mean, I went into because you can actually access the crafting area from the menu without actually going into the game. And I went in there. I'm like, I have no idea what's going on, so I left and then played the game.
F this.
I just built something that said Mjolnir, and I was like,
Well-
that'll probably be the weapon I use throughout the whole game when I play it.
It's a piece of crap.
Yeah, exactly, but I'm going to use it.
That might be your problem.
Yeah.
That's why those guys are scary.
No.
I mean, I'm
it's
sure
scary.
that could be very enjoyable for some people, but it was too much. Like it was beating me over the head
Agree.
that you should go craft some weapons.
Well-
and I'm like, I don't really care about that right now. Can I play it a more streamlined way?
And also, you're collecting like scrap and stuff like that now
Yeah.
for crafting, but it also is being integrated into how you upgrade your suit and everything. It looked like
Is it? I
because
didn't even get into
to
that much.
upgrade your suit and add those things in before you would have those power nodes and kind of put
Yeah.
everything on. It seems like now your suit can get different bonuses and upgrades based on those other things you're picking up, like the scrap metal and those other pieces of things. So while you're not going to be worrying about them for the crafting, you still need to get all that stuff for like your suit modifications and things like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they've gotten rid of the nodes completely. It seems like they have because they're just dealing with this stuff now. And building things that way.
Yeah.
But all that aside, how did you feel about the game experience? Because it's living up to my concerns.
Concerns?
Yes.
How so?
My concern about Dead Space 3 was that adding in that co-op and kind of losing some of that
Okay.
closed off.
But did you play it co-op?
I did not play it co-op, but it also seemed, it's a much different setting because you're outside for most of the time.
Yeah.
It's completely
demo.
It's bright.
Yeah. In the demo.
They have guys, right? But that's what I'm going off of
Yeah,
so far.
yeah.
So if I had these concerns going in, and now the demo's reafirming those, that's a little coincidental,
Well, it's
don't
the
you think?
start.
I know, I agree with you, but I'm saying that these were my concerns. They also I don't like the non-natural enemies popping up.
Non-natural enemies.
Like, so before you would have bodies that were laying around and they would pop up. These guys are popping up out of the snow out of nowhere.
The snow dudes.
And it
were
seems like
kinda
they're
cheap.
just thrown in to increase the scares and increase just the enemies that you would run into.
Right.
Whereas before in those games, it was the lack of enemies that was almost some of the scary parts. And so now I don't know if I like the idea of them just popping up in front of me because I'm walking forward. And I know that's the snow area, so maybe it'll be different as the game progresses.
But
it was a bad foot to start
You've
on.
always had dudes pop out of ventilation shafts and stuff.
Yeah, but that was out of ventilation shafts. That was fine. But you know what I'm saying? That was like it was. I don't know what I'm trying to say, I guess, about it, but it was a more natural thing. You could see on the wall there's a ventilation shaft. So there was always a potential that there was somebody going to pop out of there, but there was a potential that there wouldn't be.
I agree with that.
So that was
although then did you stop running like I did after the first one popped up out of the snow?
No.
Because at first I was like, run, whoosh. I'm like, whoa, okay, I'm going to take it a little slower now.
I worry that the game is just going to be more, and I didn't want that to be the case, and that's what the demo gave me a feeling of. So that was my concern going into Dead Space 3, and it was reaffirmed in the demo. So it's not like I'm not going to buy the game. I'm still buying the game. I'm not even renting it. I'm buying it because that's my faith in the franchise.
Sure.
But those are my apprehensions and my concerns. So
Yeah.
And they were reaffirmed for me. So I hope that was just that experience.
I don't know. The outside area reminded me of like the end of what was that? The first game? Yeah, the end of the first game when you run around on that planet.
That you build
surface.
up to that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, sure, but I mean, I was a little surprised that not facing a fairly large character, but see, I'm wondering. I think the demo. Because that's kind of a tutorial level.
Yes.
Yeah.
They want to give you the flair for a lot, like all the different
right, because with the big guy, because I was at first surprised. I'm like, why am I facing the big guy already? And then I realized, it's because they want to get you into this sort of Capcom boss battle idea where
and use the stasis.
Use the stasis, right? Because that's where they introduced using that, and so it made sense in retrospect. I think you go.
That would have helped.
From all the stuff that I've seen for it, most of it's inside. So I think this is you've landed.
So maybe I just need to
and
get
you're
over
working.
it.
Yeah. I mean, there's probably going to be some outside areas similar to the outside and space ones.
Yeah.
But
I thought the outside looked really nice. I loved the whole element. Like it just, especially as you go into an area and it would open up. So it had that like darkness and like, but it wasn't dark.
Yeah.
Well, and I like the blowing snow.
Yeah.
That added a nice atmosphere to it.
And it felt like for some odd reason when I was playing it just felt like the controller was pushing back on me. You could see him having a hard time get through here.
The wind
and
stuff,
I think it really worked on all those aspects. The craziness was there for me. I did not get that far in the demo because
you got scared.
My brain wasn't in that mood. I did. I wasn't in the mood. I wasn't in that mindset. And it was just like you'd gone through that one part and got all the like jumps and like people jumping at you. And didn't you have to fight that big spider?
Yeah, that's the boss like thing that I was talking about.
Stasis.
Yeah, and I didn't use stasis. And then I get to like this next part and they do a cut screen of like this thing grabbing this other guy's head and it's all bloody. And I was like,
the head replacers.
I was like, that's it for me. I was like,
I'm done.
Don't just shoot the head replacer off, by the way. Another head replacer will come and take that body.
Oh, nice.
And they don't die, so they crawl to another one and just take that one. And they keep using the same body again.
But that being all said, I know I'm going to rent this game. I know I'm going to play this game because there was like that first scare moment when I got jumped at. And then after that, it was like when I would look into a cave, like the caves they had, and then there'd be like bodies there, and I just shoot them because I love that about the second game and what I did in the first one was just
on everybody.
Yeah, just like shoot. And there was parts where I'm like just stomping crazily because that's what happens in that game. I get so like freaked out, like just anxious. I guess it would be, and I'm like, and I just start like spanning buttons, like I might be doing something. Oh yeah, I'm filling my health. Way to go! Way to go, Sean.
I didn't pay attention. If you start spamming the stomp button, does he start swearing and like cursing at what he's stomping at, like he did in 2?
I don't know that I noticed either.
Yeah, because I really liked that aspect in 2.
Spamming it.
Yeah, where he's just like, oh, die!
Yeah.
Did you see like any of the talk about the Kinect stuff? I saw a little video that they put out.
I saw a microphone pop up on his back when I was at the bench.
Yeah,
and when I came out, I'm like, oh, does this have voice commands?
Well, I saw a little quick video from Visceral about like some of the Kinect stuff that they put in there and like some of the audio cues that they have that like when you swear, like things react on the game.
Oh,
so like when in one of the examples that they were giving was like something like get the fuck off of me or something when they said that, like it kind of shakes the guy off of you. So like if you're just naturally playing it and are like, get the fuck off me, like you would when you're sitting there playing sometimes. If something was on you, it would they would shake it off, just by saying that, because the Kinect would recognize it. Or like if you start saying like, oh shit, or something like that, then your partner would react and like come over to you. And like, so it's like the Kinect is interacting with recognizing some of your swear reactions.
That could be cool.
Which is funny.
Yeah.
I mean, it's no purpose other than the fact of just being a cool little addition.
Well, I don't know. The shaking off sounds kind of like some of those biofeedback things that I hear talked about. Like people talk about having biofeedback controllers or whatnot, so as to not overtax gamers or something like that. And so, if you're yelling at get the fuck off me, then it might be because you're getting overwhelmed by these things too frequently. And so, it's kind of like, okay, here you go.
It's a smart,
you get a chance
kind
to
of thing.
Break away. Yeah,
it's interesting.
Yeah,
that's kind of cool. I like that.
Yeah, me too. So but I didn't notice if anything was in this demo Kinect wise. I didn't play with it.
I liked all those little details is what I liked.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. It's out in 2 weeks, I think.
Something like that. Pretty soon.
I was not expecting it. I forgot that it was sneaking up so quick.
Yeah.
Time's going past. January disappeared. So I'm looking forward to playing the whole thing and see how it goes after that. I didn't get the chance to check out the co-op. Did you?
No.
Did
because I was playing offline.
Okay. Oh, that's right. Fuck you, EA.
Because I didn't want to read all that stuff. Not for a demo. For a full game, I might do that, but not for a demo.
On the Kinect, you'd be like, fuck you, EA, and then the game ejects.
That'd be great. It burns, starts on fire.
Shoots out.
But yeah, I mean, there's not really anything. It's playing Dead Space again. It's funny how when you just jump in and like all the stuff comes back naturally, like where I'm just doing all the controls and flipping stuff around. And
the second one started to flash in my head when I was playing this one. I was like, I did finish the second one.
Well, I think that's just the marker.
It was. It was really flashing. I still want to get a marker tattoo. We'll see how 3 is then.
I want to get a Sharpie tattoo.
That's not even.
You said marker tattoo.
I'm gonna play Severed.
You got what?
Severed, the
Severed.
DLC for 2.
Oh yeah,
I bought.
That is awesome.
I still haven't played.
That is pretty good.
I'm gonna play it.
Good.
In the next couple of weeks before 3 comes out, so I can at least maybe get back into the feel for it. So we'll see how that goes.
You get to do the reverse story.
Yes,
because he travels the other way through.
That's what I heard.
That's
what you told me.
Yes,
I think.
the base.
Should be interesting. We'll see.
Excellent.
All right. Is that it for demos?
That's it for demos.
We got some disc games.
Yes.
Follow up on some XCOM.
Let's do it. I want to.
Yes.
Craig wants to hear about it. I don't want to hear about it.
It was you guys just totally like you guys could have sold this game.
It?
No, not at all. I went into it kind of like when you guys were first talking about it, I was just like, it's like a tactics game.
It is a tactics game,
just like it,
but
identical.
But
we still need to play together.
There are some tactics games I have enjoyed in the past, and this would be one of them.
Nice.
I did have a good time with it. I really, really enjoyed it was the bread and butter for me, the customization. I love the gameplay. I thought it was really cool, but when you can customize each character and name them, that was...
It's funny because you were saying, I was going to interrupt you and say, love naming them.
Yeah.
And then that's what it is.
Well, really, I mean... When you can change the look of them, the first one was it was a big African American gentleman with a white high top and a white goatee, and his name was G.W. Bridge. For you comic fans out there, nerd, yes. And I had X-Force characters, 6-pack characters. I had
Team 7,
not Team 7, but I did have Grifter in there. Okay, Cool Cash was rocking it. Secret 6, and they were all their real names.
Yeah.
But when they started dying, I was like, this kind of sucks. You put time into them and you'd send them out, and even though they're a little bit young, you're like, they can hold their own, and then the floater would just move on top of them and kill them. It really, really enjoyed the game, what I played of it. I didn't get too far into it. I think I rented it for a week.
Okay.
And maybe put in... Maybe 10 hours, maybe.
That's still a good amount of time.
That's a fair amount of time.
But the game is pretty big.
Yeah.
And I know
there's a lot of management to it.
And that's where I think I would run into the problem. And like when you guys were saying like set up your like headquarters, I didn't know what was in like that whole aspect of it was like digging it out. And you know, I love the whole day transgression, like as days progress. I like the way that they handled that, but I was always like hesitant of making days progress because I didn't want like, I want this to go, but I don't want villains to strike, you know, that kind of thing. Choosing between like what to do, who to take care of. I thought that was a little, I don't know. I almost went into it like I would get mad at the other places. I'm like, you're not giving me what I want, so I'm going with them just so I wouldn't feel bad because I'm like, these guys are all going to get killed.
You're justifying it.
Yeah, and I mean, graphics wise, nowhere near what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was I thought it was clean. I thought it was. I thought vantage points view was good. I thought some of this stuff would be skewed when it was come to tactics games and what you're setting up. I had a lot of fun with it.
It does get some squirrely things every once in a while when you're like setting up a line of sight,
animation wise,
and like
mechanic
wise, where it's like, really,
right.
That's 100%. Okay.
I'm looking at him. He's going right through a box. But okay.
But just, you know, I didn't really, you know, listen to you guys talk about it. It's more of a hands-on thing. And I thought the game was way over my head listening to you guys. But when I started playing it, I really, really enjoyed it.
It does a nice job of sort of building up.
Yeah.
I think.
I will say this. I finished it in between our last show and this one. And finish an actual playthrough.
Right.
And I got to a point in the game pretty late on, probably right after we talked about it last time,
right,
where I was like, everything all of a sudden clicked.
Yeah.
Where I was like, oh, why haven't I been doing this?
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, I feel like I squandered my whole half a gameplay. Where
That's
it's
why I have a half game that I stopped playing.
it all of a sudden, everything just kind of fell in line where I'm like, oh, why haven't I been building satellites like... You know, because they take like 30 days to make, 13, 14 days, whatever they take, a long time.
20 days.
So I'm like, I can make more than one at a time.
Yeah.
Like, why don't I make 5 of them? And I have them available.
You can only make as many as you have satellite relays available for.
But regardless, you know, why don't I wasn't thinking linear as far as lining things up. I was never
long-term.
forward thinking.
Yeah.
It was always like, I need a satellite, do it now. And then you have to wait 30 days.
Yeah, you're screwed if you do it that way.
What you need to do is like line things up. And once I kind of got in line with that, all of a sudden I was like... It was like Neo in Matrix. Do you know what I mean? When all of a sudden he sees all the numbers.
Yeah.
That's how I felt when I was playing. I was like, I control everything. Like, I got this.
Yeah.
That's how I exactly felt.
It you know, being a past HeroClix player, it had a very, 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 very HeroClix vibe. You guys could have sold me on that right off.
I did.
I know, but like right off the bat, they could have been like, XCOM's like HeroClix. I would have like, I'm playing that game.
That's what I said.
Exactly.
Well, it's not, but it has that vibe to it, and just, you know, I don't know.
That was the easiest terms I could put it in that would make sense to you.
Yeah, but
that's what I boiled it down to.
In that game, this is a game where I have a feeling as time progresses, it would get a little bit more tedious for me and what I want out of it. But for what I did, and maybe if it goes down to a smaller price point or down the road, who knows? I just had a ball with it. Cool. I just thought it was done really well. And the story's cool too. I like that aspect of it, and yeah.
What'd you think of the end?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it was nothing.
It wasn't bad. It was just like...
But the story is not even what...
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even there the entire time anyway. It's... I really don't know how they would end the game.
I kind of wish it was more of not constructive narrative, but you know what I'm trying to get at here? Sort of like you build the story.
Your own,
yeah,
like based on your actions,
right?
And
Right.
Give you an ending based on that.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, I could see that. I don't know. It was. Are there multiple endings? Do you know? Is it like
no.
So? There's not depending on how you do or anything like that. Okay. So I don't know. It was all right.
No, how you do just makes it more or less difficult for you.
I kind of don't really know how they would end it anyway, because you're kind of just progressing through, and if you never kind of advance the story on your, like, you have to make the decision to advance the story. So if you don't, you're kind of just spinning your wheels and doing stuff anyway, right? So I don't know. It's all right.
One last added touch that I really enjoyed about it, that got me right off the bat. It's just a small little thing. There was like a cutscene of you landing your ship, and everybody's getting off the ship, and you're far away. But those are all the characters that you pick for your party, which is just to me like that right there is could be such a generic split screen that they don't have to do that. or like cutscene.
Sure.
They don't have to do that, but they do that.
Yep.
I thought that was. I mean, it's
nice
just
touch, I
little touches are nice. So, yep.
I
And
concur.
you think you're bummed when a guy dies? Wait till he's been on 34 missions.
Well, the first guy I named and like customized GW Bridge first mission dead, and I was like,
Did you restart it or did you
no,
go with it?
no. I look at his name on the wall.
And a single tear falls.
It was like, and then the other ones, the
You
guys,
brave son of a bitch.
the guys before him. I'm like, I didn't even know those guys.
You know, you're talking about that experience where you're like, why wasn't I doing this before? When I was playing through, I had the satellite problem, but I also had the officer school. Like, I didn't even realize it was there
Oh, I'd done that at
with
least.
the upgrades for.
Yeah.
Like,
That sucks because that's a lot of.
I was
awesome
like,
stuff.
I'm like, I guess eventually this stuff will be available to me or whatnot. Nope, didn't even see it. Anyway,
Nope.
Dance Central 3 real quick.
Sure.
I got to see this game.
Thank you for reestablishing that.
That was
We
for,
are
that was for Jeremy
all-
mostly.
We are all well in the knowledge that you have not played the game,
No, we're not.
but you have experience with it.
I'm
I played the fuck out of this game.
I
It
can
is
see how you
awesome.
could. Yeah.
It is great. You know, I remember talking up Dance Central 2 when that came out because a lot of the reason why was because of the technical advances that
Yeah,
they had
yeah.
made, and those were still very strong. But you know what ended up happening was it just petered out for me. You know, over the summer, I actually went back to Dance Central 1, and I have like nearly all of the achievements for that, and
Yeah.
that's a lot of work. That's a lot of time spent in there.
I would imagine.
And then I tried moving on to Dance Central 2, and I'm like,
And why is that?
I don't know. There's just something about like the song selection or the dances themselves. Like, I feel like in Dance Central 1, they had a very small move set. Like, there were a lot of moves that were repeated throughout different songs. You would see them quite a bit. And in Dance Central 2, I feel like they really tried to add variety, but I think they went too far with variety.
Okay.
And so, like, a lot of dances, like, I would see them and I'm like, really? That's the dance they created for this song? It looks kind of, you know, it just seemed ridiculous or, you know, didn't seem very fun. It wasn't like I looked at it and I'm like, yeah, that's an awesome dance. I want to do that. It was like, I guess I got to do this one now.
Yeah.
You know? Whereas Dance Central 3, I think they've really nailed a party mix too. Because they've gone with this goofy story where you're traveling through time, trying to go to these different eras and find out the dance crazes for there. But
Wow.
what they've done is, so now you've got like, what, 5 70s songs,
Yeah.
5 80s songs, 5 90s songs, and these are recognizable songs. I think that was another problem with Dance Central 2 is that with Dance Central 1 they went for just kind of a general mix because, you know, there was like, you know, hey, come play our game. And then in Dance Central 2, it felt more like it was more modern club stuff. And I had no connection to any of it. But with Dance Central 3, they've got all these classic songs that I know. And, you know, especially when you get towards like the late 80s songs and the 90s songs, which was the big dancing music video era on MTV, I'm pretty sure they've nailed, like, you know, a lot of stuff straight out of there.
I would
You were
agree.
talking about, you and I talked, or you mentioned Ice Ice Baby
Yeah.
once. You look at that thing and I'm like, that's the fucking video
It's
right
the
there.
dance. It's literally the dance. I mean,
But if you wear those pants, Kinect's not going to recognize you.
It does make it more difficult. Yes.
Okay.
And so I think you know, that's one of the things that's really drawn me back in. And, you know, they've created more technical advances. It runs a lot more smoothly now. And I don't know. I was really like, I hit it and I was like, I played a ton of it. I haven't played a little bit of it for a while, like for a couple weeks, but that's mostly because my semester began.
Okay.
And so I get really tired when I get home. Whereas before I was on break, and so I had like all day. And so, you know,
yeah.
I would play for like hours and hours and wear myself out until I was a sweaty mess. It was
Ugh,
great.
That sounds terrible.
But then one great thing that I think that is in here is the challenges. Like, they offer weekly challenges that you can try to do things because you get stars, and stars get you unlocks and increase you in levels. And one quick way to get stars is to try and do challenges because you get big boosts of stars for beating other people. But then you can also, at the end of any song that you've played, you can issue a challenge.
ooh.
Which goes out to all the people on your friends list. And so when they go into their challenge menu, you know, your thing will be there with your score. And then they can try to beat that. And if they beat that, they get a ton of stars for it. And, you know, and so it's the leaderboard kind of done in a more dynamic way.
And now if they don't beat it, do you get a bunch of stars?
I don't think you do. They still get some stars.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, that's why it's a little more leaderboardy.
Gotcha.
But I don't know, because the problem is I came into Dance Central 3, 3 months after it came out?
Right.
And so
Yeah.
I'm guessing most of the scores that I see on there for my friends list are from October. And so, to any listeners out there who have it, please pick it back up and dust it off. I would love to get into that stuff. The fitness aspect has been enhanced. You can now, I don't remember if you could create playlists before, but I think that's a new thing. I know they had some fitness playlists before, but now you can create your own playlist.
Yeah, I noticed that because I kind of like go through the menus.
Yeah.
Because this one, for some odd reason, grabbed my attention. Like
The menus are nice.
where I wanted
like
to,
that.
I wanted to look at all the dances.
Yeah.
The dances were different this time
Yes.
around. And that's what kind of drove, like, I was like, wait a minute. And I'm looking at the expert style. I'm like, these are right from the videos.
Right.
These are right. People are popping and locking and doing all
Oh
this
my
weird-
God.
Like-
Because the closest they had, like in the first one, they had that Satisfaction song.
Sure.
Which had a little bit of robot moves in there. And that was about as far as it went.
Yeah.
Like they had an achievement tied to doing a robot move. But yeah, the Supersonic in this
From
one
JJ Fad.
is a
Supersonic.
full on popping and locking robot dance.
down with
It
OPP.
looks hard.
I mean,
it is hard.
And that's the thing too that got me about this go round is like I'm like, this is dance moves I want to learn.
Right.
I'm like, this is so I don't know.
And for the party aspect, there's
don't know.
very simple stuff because they have all those dance crazes, which, spoiler, include the hustle, the electric slide, the Macarena, of course.
Oh boy.
But these are things people know and that are not hard to do. So,
Yeah.
because it does have that party shuffle mode as well.
Like Summer, the first go round, she played like a 9-track party and she kept dancing. She's like, when's this thing gonna end? I'm like, you picked the party.
I'm like, continues going.
Yeah, you're gonna keep
not
doing
gonna end.
And she's like, and she danced it off. Yeah. Oh man, this version is pretty cool.
I have to go back through the menus because I thought when it was first introducing me to things, I may be confusing the challenge stuff, but because there is a heavy emphasis on the idea of improv in this game, like it's layered heavily into the story, but then also what I like is that when you're going through the story and you're going through the time streams, there's like this the shadow picture of you that you can dance around, and so it's like you have to keep to the beat to stay, or else we'll lose you in the time stream. And so you don't have to do much; you just kind of have to move with the rhythm, and it progress, like your pixels get bigger or brighter or something like that. And so there's a lot of stuff with improv, and I think there's a face-off mode where it's a little like horse, from what I understand.
Yeah,
Where you kind of do your own dances, and then your opponent has to kind
You
of
have like a dance off.
yeah, essentially.
yeah.
You bust a move out, and then you sit back and go like, whoa.
Exactly.
And then they do it?
Yeah.
Nice.
I think so. Because I haven't done much competitive stuff. Yeah. I've done some cooperative stuff, but not much competitive stuff. So I'm intrigued to go back, more into it, and I like it a lot.
Yeah.
It reinvigorated. I hit Dance Central 2 again, and I'm like, this is actually just kind of bleh for me. I mean, it was a great advance, but the actual songs that they had on there, and even now, because now we have Dance Central 1 and Dance Central 2 songs uploaded on there, and we go through and we can immediately tell which ones are the Dance Central 2 songs, because we're like, ugh.
Yeah, the
No.
soundtrack for this one around, because
It's really good.
That's the thing, when Summertime plays it, she goes through and plays pretty much like 4 songs off of each disc, like her favorites.
Right.
But I still got to listen to every.
She can make a playlist.
I know, but she. But she'll go through the whole list like multiple times just to get back to Rihanna, essentially. So I got to listen to all those songs. For 3, I was kind of all right with them. I was just kind of sitting back like, this isn't too bad. But some of the ones in 2 is bad choices.
She can select those with voice commands.
Oh, yeah, I know. I've told her that. She doesn't even play story mode. It upsets me.
What, she just quick plays everything?
She just quick plays everything.
Well,
I'm like,
that's what I did. I did a lot of that for 2. Because I didn't care for the story.
just go through a story real quick. See what starts off and then quit. If
Sounds
you don't
like you
it.
want to play it.
I want her to get to play it.
Sounds like you want to play it. But you don't
This
want
time
to.
around, I think I do because I want to learn how to
See, and that's what I'm talking about.
do the Ice Baby.
I think they've made it. I think they've done,
I've got half of it.
done a nice job of creating an appealing sort of party game.
Yeah.
Um,
And the dance moves don't look so repetitive like they had
Right.
before. I mean, they look like, actual.
but they don't
like-
look as crazy as
Yeah.
they did in 2.
Does it recognize you on the Kinect without the hairstyle? Or do you have to get the ice hair?
You got to get that wave.
Fade high top.
That weird,
and then shave stuff into the side.
I already do that.
It's very specific.
Yes.
It lines up.
You can't get max points if you don't have the haircut. Or the suit.
But that's all I have to say
Word
about
to your
it.
mother.
Word to your mother.
I mean,
from the streets.
it is largely more Dance Central 3, but I think, or Dance Central in general, but I think this is a very good installment.
Cool.
Very, very good.
All right, Devil May Cry. DMC.
Did you make him cry?
It made me cry a little bit. I don't know. I never played the demo.
Cry for beauty.
I got
he's so hunky.
After you guys talked about the demo, I downloaded it, but I didn't play it. And then by the time I got around to playing my Xbox again, the game was out, so I just played the full game. So I don't know what the demo gave you a taste of, but I can't think it's the beginning because you guys were talking about the whole angel and demon side of stuff. So I think they must give you a little bit into the game.
Yeah.
So you probably have had more experience than I have because I just started getting all the different weapons that you can get because you build them up over time as you're playing through the game. So you start off with just and we should say the Ninja Theory. Who does the game?
I don't think we mentioned this.
From Enslaved history, and what else did they work on?
Something called Heavenly Sword.
Heavenly Sword, the PS3 game. Yeah, that's right.
Which is why, explains a lot why the characters are so well modeled and all that stuff.
Why they look good.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, though, you just have your guns and your sword, and so you're doing just the basic combo moves and stuff like that. As the game progresses in the first couple of levels, you start getting your demon weapons.
Yeah.
And because they did change it up a little bit, where this time in the characters of Devil May Cry, I think before he was always like a demon human child.
Don't remember.
Now it's like a demon, but his mother was an angel.
Yes.
So they add in the whole light and dark kind of weapon things where there's a red and a blue side. So your demon ones are like these heavier weapons that you have, like this battle axe. And then the lighter side, the angel weapons are
Swifter weapons.
Yeah, a lot quicker. So he has a scythe that goes really quick and kind of builds up some energy. So I've been playing through a little bit. I've been having fun with it. I mean, it looks great.
Yeah.
The platforming aspects of it are a little hinky with the camera.
Yeah.
I ran into some issues where you're running straight forward and kind of have to judge how far you have to jump.
Yeah.
And that gets a little problematic.
Yeah, it can.
So there was one part in particular where I think I fell in this pit like 8 times and I couldn't jump over it, and I didn't know what I was doing wrong. And I still don't know how I got over it finally. But
sounds like the same pit I kept falling.
But I nailed it.
Use the dash.
Yeah.
I don't.
Air dash.
No, I didn't. I don't think I have that.
Maybe
you get it later or
Maybe.
have to select it or something. I don't know. Because you do level up, when you're collecting things, and you can add in, you can customize all your different abilities and kind of level up in areas that you want to.
Right.
I really like that. So I'm having fun with it, but I want to play more. It sounds like the game's not too long, so I think I'll probably be able to bust through it this weekend, which is my goal. I just didn't get a lot of time this last week.
Excellent.
Which is when I started playing it.
Yeah,
so.
I think if it comes to Redbox, I'm going to pick it up. I hear there are some gratuitous things in there, but
that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, but I mean,
and the guy's kind of a dick. I don't like the character at all. Like he's just kind of a douche.
Right.
I don't like him. He just talks
but
like
I hear
he's a badass.
I hear some of the almost satirical stuff that they do, particularly with enemies and bosses, is pretty spectacular.
Cool.
Like I guess there's one where you're fighting basically the DMC version of like Fox News or something, where you're fighting like this big video image of a guy or something.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So the media, I guess I should say,
the Ninja Theory team hasn't driven me wrong anywhere else, like in Enslaved or anything like that. Yeah. It's always been a really good gameplay aspect. Or story mode. It's been condensed. With their games, that's another rap that they get is like the shorter game end. But they're a good story, and so that's important to me as well.
Yes.
So I kind of like it. It's enticing to me, honestly, that it's a 10-hour game, or less. Like we've talked about multiple times before, compared to like Darksiders.
Well, and
where
plus
you got 40-hour game.
Plus, it's a game that measures your, how well you do per level. So,
and it's really built on doing better and getting higher scores and things like that, which we've talked about before isn't really a big drive for me. I want to experience the game and don't really care about how I perform because I know it's going to be terrible. Because I have really low expectations for my performance, which makes me a much happier person.
Not only you.
Everybody expects it. I'm not a big fan of the music, though.
Oh, yeah?
It's really, really like heavy metal, like death metal in some aspects, where
yeah.
it's a lot of Cookie Monster singing, you know, those kind of songs.
I don't think I've ever heard it described in that way.
Like Cookie Monster?
That's totally it.
That's
though.
what it is. It's
Yeah,
the Cookie
it is.
Monster voice that everybody has. Cookie. And it's a little much sometimes. Like, I found I was turning it down quite a bit when I'm
Yeah.
trying to play through, because I was like, ugh. But I think it'll probably blend in as I play through. I mean, it fits with the gameplay.
Yeah.
It fits with what you're doing, but it was just, I don't like that music in particular.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to play through it, so maybe I'll have more next time, because I do want to finish out the play, and we'll see how the story goes.
Yeah, I hope I get to play it,
But it's been fun just playing it. I like the different weapons and the different things you can do.
Nice.
Good
Yeah, I
stuff.
forgot that.
And
was
because it's a
gonna come out.
Capcom game. Costumes.
It's such a Capcom game. That's I think one of my other problems, not quote unquote problems with
I
it.
think this is the least
character.
Capcom feeling
Maybe.
of Capcom games, at least from the demo that I played.
Maybe.
I don't know, but yes. So because they released an old school Dante outfit.
Oh, did they?
That you can buy
Yeah. Oh, that you can buy. That's nice.
for all the whiners.
In case you need to buy it and make yourself feel better.
Dante,
I gotta look like white hair Dante.
red coat.
So, did they do any of that in the
Sorry, folks.
the demo that you played? Did they mess around with that? Because in the beginning of the game, they'd play with that.
Play with what?
The whole like Dante
I don't
original look.
I don't
thing.
remember that.
So the opening of the game, like you're going through this level and like all the stuff is being blown around and all this stuff, and like this wig lands on him, like this white wig, and he like looks in the mirror and he's like, "Yeah, right." Or something like that. I don't know, some kind of lame thing that I'm sure pissed people off.
Yeah.
Where some people thought it was funny and some people are like, "God, fuck you.
I like Dante.
I like him with his white hair." So I don't know.
I
It was
dyed my
funny.
hair white.
No, it looks
I
stupid.
got that red pleather jacket.
Now I look like a fool.
I look dumb.
All right, so we'll have more next time on it, though.
Okay.
I know a lot to say about it. Anything else, or is that it for us?
That's all I got.
We're done?
That's all I got.
All right. Let's see if I can get through this. SignedInPodcast.com. That is still our website.
Is it?
Yes. I
Really?
just renewed it, so we're good for another
job.
year. We have to do the show at least another year, just so you know. Otherwise, I wasted all that money. You can find links to our Twitter. I'm on Twitter at SignedInPodcast. Sean is on Twitter at...
Shonix.
There's no in front of that, but...
No, there's
and Craig...
Shonix.
At the pull list.
It looks like an but it's an at.
Craig is at the full list. You can find links to our Facebook page as well, all of our past episodes, our forums. Please join our forums and chat over there. We've had a couple new folks pop up over there, which has been nice.
Definitely.
So thanks for that. And all the other Pseudo Radio shows like The Pull List and 3 Die Block. You can email us at comments@signedinpodcast.com. We've gotten a couple of emails over the holidays as well, so thanks to everybody for communicating with us.
Awesome.
And giving us a shout. And I think that's it. Next episode, Dead Space 3 will be out. Maybe some other stuff. I have no idea what's going on. Anything? Anybody else want to say anything?
No,
I might
no,
have some
no other
Devil May
games.
Cry in there. I might fit that in there.
You might try to fit it in?
Excellent.
Cool.
Might.
Might.
Makes right.
That'd be good because I'm going to finish it. So I promise. And when have I ever let anybody down?
With a promise.
With a promise. When has my promise never meant anything? I don't know if that makes any sense.
All right. Done.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.